Hello guys, it's Charjr Ryuki. I am back officially from Kanpai Con. And I want to say I had a lot more fun this year than I did last year. Um, dances were great. Um, they did fix, I guess you could say, sort of fixed the Wi-Fi problem, so you can connect to it, so you're not wasting all your minutes on your phone. But it's not really safe, so I couldn't really upload anything that I recorded during the weekend. And what you'll be seeing is, I'm gonna talk about that because I noticed it when I was there, and I'm not happy really about my camera. At the opening ceremony during the main event, they introduced Vic Mignogna, Tia Ballard, Whitney Rogers, and Greg Ayers. You'll see like 2 minutes of it, like the 2 minutes like I could record when there's no copyright music going on. And there were supposed to be a few others that were there that didn't make the opening ceremony because of the weather. And it snowed like quite a bit, just enough that in town it was a pain in the butt to drive around. But the restaurant there that was open in the morning, at lunch, or pretty much basically all day, is only open at breakfast now. Castaway was only open at breakfast, but I didn't feel like going in there and spending $30 just on one person, because if it's $30 for an actual meal with buffet just for one person, then the breakfast is going to be about the same. About my camera, the batteries died too quick. Even if they were just fully charged, all ready to go, they died too quick. They couldn't last an entire 45 minutes to an hour. So it was quite frustrating when you're trying to record a panel and you're looking at your screen and it says, "Oh, I'm about to die." So you change battery, you hit record, but then for some darn reason it records over, or it completely erases what you've already recorded. So I recorded like 2 minutes of the opening ceremony, just for a little bit. And then I was going to record Vic Mignogna's very first panel, which was also in the same room, right after the opening ceremony. You'll only see 2 minutes of that because of my camera. So, and the fact that the battery was dying and would never really stayed long enough for me to really get the entire panel, or panels, I should say, that I went to. There's one panel that I probably that I should have recorded, but I would have to zoom in mainly on the person doing that panel, because she was already embarrassed. And the one I'm talking about was Whitney Rogers. And they basically admitted that they were surprised that anyone showed up at Tia's panel or Whitney's panel or even Greg Ayers' panels because Vic was there, because Vic is one of the most popular voice actors out there. And it was, I probably should have recorded, because Whitney Rogers plays a character in Prison School. I have not watched it. I have seen some clips, but I have not watched it yet. But she did play in an anime that I've seen, I think last year or the year before, called Haganai Next. She plays Yozura. And she's in a bunch of others, but she was always known as these deep voiced female characters that acted like nothing bothered them. But she's a very bubbly, always excited person. And you kind of hear those anxious laughs every now and then when she says something, after she says something, like answering a question. It's like, no one else is laughing. Anyone else got any questions? It's just something just like that. But she really made the panel worth experiencing. Because someone, just like anyone, if they really don't have if no one really has a question on their mind to ask, they would just keep bringing things up, like, oh, just, maybe you'll feel more comfortable if I talk more about myself, so you'd get to know me, and I get to know you a little bit, maybe, and yada, yada, yada. She doesn't have Twitter. She has Facebook, but she does not have Twitter. When I walked into that panel, and there was nothing but silence, and I sat back far enough that I wouldn't get, if I was to pull my camera out, and I did, but then I put my camera back, because it was just, there's maybe, including myself, maybe 10 to 15 people in the room. So I kind of felt embarrassing enough to sit there and record a few minutes of that panel when there's hardly anyone in there and not asking a whole lot of questions. So I felt comfortable enough to ask her some questions, but I didn't take my camera back out and start recording. I felt if there's going to be another panel, and it would be with her and Tia, just an actresses panel, then that would probably be my best bet, to get both of them in a panel together. And I did. But with my cameras, like, I almost was about to bring my other camera, carry three cameras on me, because one kept on dying on me throughout the entire time. Like, didn't matter how, I brought 3 batteries, and I kept on changing batteries every single time. I probably should change SD cards, because for some reason with this camera, it can't keep recording. It can't. It just can't. It recorded 7 videos, but it should have recorded 2 videos for Vic's first panel, where I recorded a good 30 minutes of it, 30 minutes of it, stopped the recording to change batteries, hit record again, but then all it got was 2 minutes. So something happened there. Either it just decided to shut off, and it screwed it all up, and I lost it, which pisses me off. But then I went to Greg Garris's panel after I switched batteries with a full charged battery, and it died on me again. So, but that panel was right after Vic's first panel, and it was a very short panel, so it was like only at 30 minutes when it should have been 45 minutes. Because Vic's panels, sometimes they last 5 or 10 minutes longer than what they should, and that's fine, but you just, well, if somewhere wouldn't have, hogged all the time, we would have more time in here to get some more questions in. So that part, you really didn't get to see, because that part kind of got not recorded because the battery was dying on me. And I actually brought that quite a bit up when I was there, because when I was doing a couple of vlogs there, I was pretty much pointing that out, that I was not happy with the fact that my camera batteries, saying they could last more than an hour. Apparently they can't last no more than 30 to 45 minutes at a time. So that is quite upsetting. after Greg Ayers' panel, let's see, what was the other panel that I went to that Friday? There had to have been another third panel that I went to, because Saturday I went to a lot of panels. I know there was Vic's, Greg's. Oh, I missed Tia's first panel, actually. I missed Tia's first panel. I did not go to her first one. I missed it. But I did go to the signing to Vic's signing. I didn't get Tia's or Greg Ayers' signature because I already have it on last year's booklet, but I was trying to get Whitney's, and when I showed up there to get her signature, it was already shut down, and I got told that it's a shutdown. You can come back tomorrow or not. We're shutting it down now. We're just finishing the lineup. So I basically got shoved out. See ya. So yeah, for the whole, it was just really frustrating. And with with a couple of the videos that I did, you might notice that I'm talking a little bit softer, so it might be harder to hear me, because I don't want to bother anybody in the hotel room. You know, they might be sleeping or whatnot, so I really don't want to bother them with me talking as loud as I am right now. And I'm looking at the time because I'm trying to make sure I get, because I know this only records for 29 minutes, so the thing when I got there, I noticed somebody that looks familiar. I'm gonna stop talking about how pissed off I'm with my camera. Still a good camera, just I'm pissed off with the fact that the batteries don't last long. When I got there, I recognized someone that looked familiar in the workout area in the hotel. But I walked off. I went to my hotel room. I came back out. I walked all the way back towards the video room where they'll be playing anime, and they played some episodes from the original Full Metal Alchemist, and they played Kimba the White Lion there as well. And I was walking back from my hotel room, and I caught the same person again in the corner of my eye, and I turned and looked, and there was Vic. I met Vic before I met anyone else. Before the convention really started, I met Vic. And not everybody, it's like some people might have noticed him, and they're like, hey, this is Vic, he plays Ed, or Ed from Full Metal, or so-and-so from this, and so-and-so from that. And, he was just hanging out. Like, they actually built a giant chessboard in the lounge area, I guess you could say, in the hotel. Right next to the flippin' coffee bar. Right there. There was a couple guys playing chess. He was standing there watching them. Throwing some breadcrumbs to one guy, but every now and again. But he was just sitting there, hanging out, talking about anything, and I finally walked up to him, and I'm like, it's nice to meet you, Vic. And he was like, nice to see you. He was like, what's your name? And I told him my name was, and I told him that Generator Doll was one of my favorites, and he's like, oh my god, I love that show. And he's like, soon after, like, sorry if I'm not really paying attention to the conversation. I'm paying attention to the chess game. I'm like, that's okay. And I brought up the fact of his project that he did. If you don't know about it, go check it out. It's called Star Trek Continues. Go check that out. It's an awesome show. myself have not finished it, and I got yelled at by Vic. He basically like, dude, you need to finish that. Get on it right now. So basically, he got on me for not finishing it. So basically, I got yelled at. Basically, not. I got in trouble. I got in trouble because I did not finish watching Star Trek Continues. But it is a really good show. I recommend it. You should watch it. I might even decide to watch it when I watch all the rest of it. I'll start over again and watch it from episode 1 to episode 11. Which episode 11, if you don't know, they just finished not too long ago. I'll do probably an overall review on it. That's probably going to be in the future. But and then at the signing, you'll see. I'm not going to get up and get it, but my very first notebook that I started writing in for my book, A Night That Can Never Be Forgotten, which took me 6 months to come up with that title. I told him, because this is true, it'll be like a needle in a haystack trying to find that email. But I sent him an email to his email address. And this was like, let's see, 7, 8 years ago. So it was quite a long time ago. And he just looked up at me and was like, you know, I said I was writing a book and I sent you an email with a prologue, and his mouth dropped years ago, and you gave me some advice, very helpful advice, and I was wondering if you would sign it. And he signed it. And he asked me, like, I was like, is it done? And I was like, no, no, it's not done. It's got a long way to go. I'm still working on a date scene because I want it just right. Because I don't want to, because I know I'm going to go through a whole lot of process of just trying to edit all the mistakes I've made. Even trying to edit my mistakes as I'm writing it. But, hopefully I still have enough time. I might have to get up and see how much time I have left here. But he was exactly, I have about 11 minutes yet. He was exactly the exact same person that he was in all the panels that I've watched. Huge fan of Star Trek, the original series, and loves interacting with his fans. Exactly. He was exactly that person who I wanted to meet. No different. He didn't act like those people who let the fame get to their heads of being popular or whatnot, and stick your nose up in the air. He didn't act that way. He acted exactly like I've seen in many panels, and everyone who is a fan of Vic knows. I got to record 30 minutes of his For the Love of Alchemy panel. I got to record Tia and Whitney's panel. I got to record an It Gets Better panel featuring Greg Ayers. It's his other panel that I went to Saturday night that I went and watched. I even went and videotaped. I have 2 videos of It Gets Better. 2 of it, which pretty much is basically the entire thing. I have, let's see, what else did I get? I got to go to a screening of Star Trek Continues, an episode of it, but it was supposed to start at, what was it, supposed to start at 8 or 9? I think it was supposed to start at 9, and it was late, or I think it might have been 8. It was at 8, and it took an hour for them to get that thing running, so all of us can watch the episode. And at 9 o'clock, we were able to watch the episode. Around 9:30, it was done. We asked some questions, talked a little bit. I asked him how many times he would go down there after it was done and over with, and he goes, dude, anytime I have the chance. That place is my baby. I love that place to death. And he's talking about the studio, all the props, the Enterprise, the original Enterprise that they built, based off the original designs that they had done. And at the end of the panel, he called out one person's name and says, "You better watch it. You better go home and watch Star Trek Continues." And then he turned around and looked and goes, "Brett, you better watch it too. You better watch." And I'm just looking at him like, "Oh no." And he's like, "Oh, he called me out. Oh no, what is that? What am I gonna do? He called me out. Ah!" He's just making fun of me. Because that was my reaction, like, oh shit. But anyway, I had a lot of fun at the panel. It was awesome meeting Vic, Greg Ayres, and Tia Ballard again, and Whitney Rogers. I thanked them for the experience, even though I had to go because I had to go to work the next day. But still, I had a lot of fun. And that's all you guys need to know. Because you guys will see it eventually. But anyway, if I still have time left on that camera there, I'm Charjr Ryuki, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.